Streaming now. And we're live again. All right. Welcome, guys. Welcome, everyone. We're going to wait a few minutes to see if there's a few people. A few more people join us. But we're going to start in a few minutes. If you have questions, you can start asking right now. And I'll answer those. All right. Seems like it's working. All right. Okay. Yeah, just about a few minutes and we are gonna be starting. Let me know if you can hear me okay. I was tweaking a little bit of the audio, so let me know if it's working. Okay, so somebody wants to know about scratches, but gracias, Toms. Thank you, Toms. Gracias. Sorry about that. Somebody wants to know about scratches, but I think, well, it's actually you, Toms. I think that's a kind of advanced topic for what we're gonna see today. Okay. I turn this audio down. Okay. Okay, so yeah, scratches. Mm. Oh, that effect, well, that kind of burning effect would be a texture, but could be done with a viewing angle, maybe with the Fresnel, using the Fresnel to. There are some shaders that do that, but yeah, it's kind of a shading thing. All right, so let's start with the topic for today. The topic for today is materials and how do I create those funky things. Well, materials, it's a very nice topic. And there's a few ways to use materials, to create materials, and to apply materials. So, first, we need something to apply materials to, right? Like, let's start with something simple as we always do, like a teapot. Well, that's gonna be difficult. Let's start with a cube. If I can type. So, if we want to apply a material to this, what should we do? Like, let's say we want to make this cube made of stone or something like that. Well, you need to create a material for that. And For that, there are a few ways to create a material. You can see in the object, you can assign the material here. But if you click there, there's nothing to help you there. So there's a few ways. So in the default, let me switch to the default desktop. I don't use the default desktop, but in the default desktop, there is a material palette here in this tab. In this tab, you can create all sorts of materials. And what this is basically most of these presets that are here, like the all of these industrial brick, plastic, most of those are just presets of the principal shader. A few ones are using the mantra surface. It's just two different shaders to apply materials on geometry. Let me go back to my desktop. So let me put the material palette here so it's bigger. So you can create everything here and it's pretty cool. Houdini ships now with a ton of materials that you can just apply really quickly. So let's say we wanted to make this look like concrete, right? Well, there's a concrete preset there, so I can just click it and drag it here to create it. I can't let me just delete it. I can click it and press this arrow to create it, or just delete it again. I think I can just drag it to the object from here. You can see the object becomes highlights in a yellow with a yellow glow on top of it. So if you do that, it will create it and it will assign it. So now it's assigned to the object, but it looks kind of weird. It just turn a little bit grayish, but I don't see the texture. Well, as we said before, this material, if we inspect this material, you can see it's using textures for the base color and for the roughness. And this means that we need UVs, and we already did a webinar about UVs, so it's pretty simple to do the UVs for a cube. You can use the unwrap. It will unwrap it really quickly. And now we can see the texture. It's on the cube. Let me go to flat shaded. Now we have a texture and it's pretty awesome. It has a huge hole there. And if we render this, we will see the texture there. So that's one way to create materials. The other way, it's going to the shop context. You can see the concrete shader is there. You can, in the shop context, you can just tab and create materials here. There's a few. There's ones that I made. There's a few from Redshift, from RenderMan, from Mantra. And the basic ones are here in the material mantra, are the hair, the mantra surface, the principal shader, which is the one we have here. This is the principal shader, which is based on the Disney BSDF. Pretty popular shader these days. So, and I recommend that you use the principal shader. It's pretty simple to use and it's pretty cool. It gives you really nice results. So let's create one here. We can also just type, as we know, principal shader. Let's call this simple. And now we can just do the same, drag it here, or let's create another object. We have another object here. Let's assign it to that object. And again, we can just drag it from here, or we can go to the object, assign it here as before. You can see if I select the box, the material it's assigned there for the box. And you can expand the shop context here and you can see both of your materials here. Simple one, select it, accept it, and then there it is. Let me go to smooth shader now. You can see that's the material we just created. If we go to the parameters, it's pretty simple. Parameters, color, you just click on it, change the color to whatever we want. We can click this color wheel here and have different ways of selecting the color. This is pretty basic things. HSB, temperature, and there's metallic. If you want to make this object metallic, you can see it changes to a kind of a metallic shading there. You want it to reflect anything, lights, objects. There's the you can see the highlights there reflecting the default light. If we want to tint that reflection, you can see it's tinting with this color here. That's something that it happens in metals. It gets tinted. The roughness of that highlight just means how shiny or how rough the surface is. This surface will be very rough because it's made of concrete, and the light diffuses a lot when it hits the surface. Something like a very shiny new car will be very, 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 very smooth, and will have very low roughness or no roughness at all. You can see if I go up, you can see the effect of that, and you can look at surfaces in the real world, and you can kind of see how the light behaves in those surfaces. Anisotropy, anisotropy. I always get this wrong. Well, this parameter here changes the way the reflection. It stretches the reflection for some kind of metals like brushed steel or something like that. You can't see it here in the viewport. Let's see if we can see it. No, we can't. There's a few parameters that you can't actually see in the viewport. Have to render to see them. Subsurface is if you want to make your object consume light or let light get into it, something like milk or wax. It's pretty common, or even skin. Surfaces that don't bounce the light right away, they let the light in and the light bounce around, and this is the amount of that. Sheen, if you want to make something like velvet, you can give it a sheen, or surface of a car paint, something like that. And the tint of that. And the coat again serves makes a different coat on top of the first coat. So you yeah, again, car paint has like different layers of paint, and the one below might be a little bit more rough, and the one on the very top, the last coat, will be very shiny. Something that it's like a guitar or something that's painted with that also those kind of clear paints. And code roughness again for the code, and surface texture settings, just settings for your textures. And you can see this shader, it's very simple. It has a few parameters, and these few parameters can do a lot of stuff. So this is what the Disney Pixar guys use for their shaders. A lot of studios and a lot of renders use these basic parameters for shading. Right now it's everywhere. So with this simple set of parameters, we can do a lot of stuff. So before we get to doing more stuff, let's see how we can apply materials to different sections. So let's call this red, make it red. Let's call this green and make it green. And we can have another one. Let's use a blue. This blue. I like that blue. All right, so now we are assigning one shader to the whole thing, right? It's not like it's not taking into account any details of the object, or if the object is built of different parts. So let's just bring something else here to make this a little bit more interesting. Let me get something here. Projects. Let me just find a file really quick. Give me 1 second. Okay, so let me import file, which is a little bit more interesting to look at. And in the geometry should be not, let me set my project first. And on the tips, wrong location, but should work. Save the file. Materials. Let's import an FBX from here. It's one. All right. Merge it. All right. Could be. All right. That's pretty cool. See, there's a little character there. We got it from Mixamo. But we're gonna delete everything from it. So let's say we have just this. Little bit of cleanup. I know what I did. I did it again. Let me delete this one. I don't need the I don't need this again. Sorry for that. Import again. I just need the geometry. Delete everything. Merge that. There we go. It's pretty big. And let's see if we don't crash here, because this crashed my machine before. I'm actually my G. Put it to scale, and it's inside a block. Let's move the block. All right, we have this character here. It's pretty cool. Has different parts. We're gonna make this one single object. So sometimes this is separate into different objects. You can see here, the head is one, the hands are another object, the pants, and the boots, scarf, and the hair. But what if I have just one object? This is what I want to show you. Let me call this boy. This is going to be simulating something that you have just one piece. Just give me 1 second here to this object. All right. So this will be our object. I'm gonna try that. Will be our object that we have. It has different parts. We can select by connected geometry. You can see there's the parts have different parts, which is this way of selecting in Houdini is pretty cool, because it allows you to select the whole parts and allows you to see them as well, which is pretty damn cool. All right, so we have this guy, but so you want to assign different colors to different areas. Let's say the shirt or the sweater here is going to be, the jacket's going to be red. Of course, you're going to have materials and stuff like that, but this is just an example. So let's select by connected geometry. You can see clicking here, select 3D connected geometry. Select this, And let's create a group for that. Group. And let's call this jacket group. Jacket group. No. Right. Let's say now we want to select the hands. So select these hands here. It's gonna be another. Let's select the head too, because those three parts will be like skin. So let's create another group with those pieces selected. It's gonna be skin group. Let's select the hair. Create another group. Call it hair group. Let's select all the parts of the scarf. You can see there's a few different parts here. That's all the scarf. Create a group for that as well. That'd be cool. Scarf. I think it's the way to call that. Scarf. Yeah, it's cool. And we are missing the pants. The pants group. Pants group. And the boots. It's another group. Group. Boots. Boots group. All right, so now we have groups, and there's another cool way to select in Houdini. If you need to select the groups now, you can see we are selecting connected geometry here. All these pieces are separate. But if we go to geometry groups, you can see actually the names of the groups here. What is not in a group? Is there something not in a group? I think no. You can see it highlights the boots, hair, jacket. Pretty cool. So if you want to select like the scarf, it's made of different parts, and the hands as well. You can just select the boots. You can just select one group here and assign something to it. Do something to it. Pretty cool. This window, it's pretty damn cool. All right. So now we want to assign material to this group separately. So if we go back here, up here, and assign a material here, actually this boy has no material. If we assign a material here, we'll assign material for everyone, not just the head or the scarf or anything like that. So let me hide these guys for now. To do material assignments to different parts of a geometry, we can separate the geometry into groups that you want to assign materials to. And now we can create a material sub here. And now in this material sub, you can see we have the number of materials we want to assign, we want to create or assign. Yeah, assign, because we created the materials somewhere else. And we can create more by clicking this plus. You can see I'm adding tabs here. And each of these tabs can be assigned to one group. You can see I can select the group from here. Or I can actually just select this fancy arrow here, and brings me to that selection mode, you know, the one we just saw before. You can see we are selecting by groups. It's pretty cool that you can just click here and select your scarf, for example, and we'll just press enter. It will put the name there, or it's the same thing as if you select it from here. So that's let's do that. Let's assign something to the scarf. Select the scarf, press enter to finish that. And now to assign the material, we can do a few things. We can just click in this selection operator and this select operator button and select something like, let's say, blue. Sometimes it doesn't highlight, but it does select it. And you can see now the scarf is blue. And if we just unselect everything, see just that it's blue. Everything else is just gray. And here outside, there's no material sign. It's just here inside this level. So we can do, let's go to number 2 and select something else like the hair. Enter, enter. Have to enter while you are in the viewport. If you press enter here, sometimes it doesn't work. So let's say we are gonna assign green to the hair. Oh, that's pretty cool hair. Let's do another way. We can just, let's say we have blue, red. We can drag this material from here, from the material palette to the viewport, and you can see the whole object highlights. Let's put it on the face, and you can see when I release the mouse, it has this drop actions menu. You can assign it to the object. I can assign it to the skin group, which is the group that it detected it was there in that, or I can cancel. Let's say cancel, and let's try it again for the jacket here. You can see it detects it detected the scarf actually. Let's see if we can assign it to the jacket skin group. So this is not as exact as you might want. So let's try something else in the boots. There it detects the boots, or in some areas it's just a little bit difficult. There we go, that's the jacket. It's a little bit difficult to detect what's under the mouse. Let's try that. The jacket. Now assign that to the jacket. And what happened here? It should there we go. It assigned to the last swatch here, or the last option, last entry. It assigned the jacket material to that. Let's create a few more shaders. We can select it here, maybe create one principal shader. Let's call this skin. Just rename these guys to jacket. This is gonna be the hair, gonna be the scarf, and we need another one for the pants. Let's create a principal shader, pants, and boots. We can also just copy and paste these shaders to copy them and duplicate them. Boots. All right, so let's assign these guys. Let's try dragging to the boots, and yeah, we can assign it to the boots. The boots will be darker, so let's make this color a little bit dark. Pants, let's see if we get the pants. Yes, the pants are gonna be jeans. Maybe made up that kind of blue works. And the skin, let's assign it to this skin group, and the skin will be a little bit more like skin, something like that, yellowish. There we go. So this character had like texture for the eyes, so we don't have eyes here, but it's all right. All right, so that's how we assign materials to different parts. Even if we wanted to assign materials to this this pocket here in this pocket in the jacket, we can actually just select this. Let me just grow that selection, create another group for that group. Let's call that, go here, call it pocket group, and let's put it above the materials here. So we have a few materials here. Some were created by the dragging. When you drag and assign the material, it's creating one of these tabs here. So a few tabs are empty. We can delete them. We can delete this is empty. This is all these are used. We can add another one, and we can create one more material. Call it pocket. For pockets. And let's make them a little bit yellow. Now we can select the group from here, pocket, and assign the material. Assign the material here. You can also drag the material from here. Let me make this. We can drag the material from here to the parameters here, but sometimes if you just try to drag it, it will go away because it shows these parameters. You can lock that so it doesn't go away, and now you can just drag it and assign it to the pocket. You can unpin that. And you can see now, let me just deselect that. And that is not selected, it's actually has a shader assigned. And I selected the little guy's spot there. So it's pretty simple to correct. Let's go to the pocket. And in the pocket, having this tool selected, the show handle, or pressing enter, you can see we have shown what it's selected there. Let's press S4 to select the primitives. We can press the tilde key while having this selected, press the tilde key. Now this disconnects and we are in selection mode again. Let me deselect that area with control. Deselected too much. That. Now I want to select the other pocket as well. Select this pocket here. Shift A. Shift A. Not working. Shift. There we go. Shift A to range select. There we go. Now there's nothing else selected. No. Press enter. And now this group connects back in. And if we go back here, you can see now that group it's assigned to the group is modified and the shader is assigned to the two pockets. All right. So so that's how we assign materials to different parts, how we create them. Now, how do we render these things? How do we see what we're doing? Well, there's a few ways to do this. We will need first to go to render and create here in render, create a render node, mantra PBR. In the rendering webinar, we will talk about rendering. For now, just trust me. Once I created that, in the out section, there's a mantra node. We are not gonna change anything about this mantra node today. Maybe just the size. Now let's create a camera. Create a camera. Look through the camera here. Lock it so we can move it and position the camera. I don't like that view. Let me put 35 in the focal length. Let's just, we can even make this 1280 in the height as well. And we can frame our object, our character a little bit better. There we go. That's gonna be all for the camera. And now we have a camera, we have a render node. We can just click render on this render node and render to this. We'll render it to the hard drive, but if you press render to mplay, it will launch mplay really quickly. It will start rendering your character here, which is pretty cool. See there, it's looking nice. It's pretty big, so let's just make this 512 by 512, so it's faster to render. Now, another thing you can do is just click this movie reel here in the viewport, lower left, and it will start rendering whatever you have in the viewport. You don't even have to create a mantra node for this to work, but if you want to use this mantra node, you can just hold your left click here. You can select a few options here. Just if you don't have RenderMan installed, if this won't work, but you can select this mantra node, which is this one, or the default is just a hidden mantra node that just renders the viewport. It's exactly the same, but this one render what is in the viewport, this size. Yeah, that size was the size of the picture. All right, the other thing is, and what helps for us for shading, for making the materials and stuff, what will help for us is actually using the render view here. You can see there's a tab here for the render view. But before we go to the render view, I'm going to create a light. Let's go. I'm just going to create one simple light. Maybe just position the camera where you want the light. Go to lights and cameras and create an area light. Just control click here. It will create your light wherever you are looking at. And create another one here, this side. I will reduce the exposure a little bit and just create a grid for a floor, just so we have something to see shadows on and stuff like that. And this light, we will also have a webinar on lighting, so just trust me for now and just do what I'm doing. And this light, let's make the area size bigger. So we just have two area lights, eliminated the character. And we go now to the render view. We can see we have the mantra node selected, and we can select our camera here. And now click render. And what's pretty cool here, now we have our really nice character here. Here in the render view, you can see it starts rendering and it finishes. But there's a really nice auto update option here. If we go to one of the shaders, let's say the hair is very shiny. Let's go to the hair, and we can change the color of the hair, and you can see it's updating here really quick and cool. You wanted blue hair, there we go, blue hair. You wanted purple hair, that's pink. Purple, yeah, why not? Red hair. Hey, what's my red hair? Whoa, it's not updating. Doesn't want me to have red hair. There we go. That's the red hair there, and you can see it's pretty simple to update, and it's really cool to tweak shaders like this because I really like blue hair. So I'm gonna put it blue. Make it blue. It's really cool to shade this way, to have this interactive, because you can just tweak your parameters really simple and really fast, and you will be getting the results that you want. So all these shaders are really shiny. So let's go to the boots first, and you can see I can try to match how boots look and stuff, but there's a few presets here that I can actually start from in this gear icon here. There's brick, cloth, concrete, or what I should have done actually was maybe use this black rubber preset here and use that for the boots. That will make me, that would have gotten me there faster actually. So we can still change that just by dragging this material here in the actual render view on top of the boots. Now that material should be assigned to the boots, but there's gonna be a problem. Let's see what happened here in the boy. So boots, it's the same material. Pretty sure you can assign materials like this, but I think this is not working because it has multiple groups. You can see I assigned it to the floor, and that works. And I think it's actually assigning it. Yeah, it's assigning it to the whole group. So we're gonna delete that, and so we need to go ahead and assign it by hand, the way we were doing the other shaders. So let's go do some cleanup here. This is gonna be the boots, or we can just see what this preset is doing. You can see it's just black, a little bit charcoal color, reflects a little bit, and has a lot of roughness. And we can do that. We can do that here. Let me just call this floor, and we're gonna make this different color. Oh, the boots are. I'm sorry. I changed the boots color. The floor, I'm gonna make it different color. Maybe he's on a autumn floor. There we go. The boots got a little bit green because I changed this parameter. All right. So the boots were a little bit dark. I like to use these sliders here, and not so reflective, and a little bit more rough because they're made of leather or something like that. You can see they are a little bit shiny still, but they're not as shiny as they were before. And another thing you can use here is you can snap here, take a snapshot here. You can just let's just give this a chance to finish. Now let's click here, snapshot. Now we have one snapshot, one snap there. And if I turn the roughness down and leave that render, you can see that those boots are really shiny now, and I can go back and forth and compare what's happening. You can see I really like when the roughness is a little bit higher, but I do want to keep a little bit of the shine because shoes sometimes they shine. All right, so now the skin looks pretty shiny as well. Let's raise the roughness, lower the reflection of the skin. Are we on the right parameter? Yes. Let's lower the reflection a little bit. There we go. That looks pretty cool. Make it a little bit more saturated, not so much. That looks good. That looks really nice for a nice cartoon. So the hair, we can just press L here to organize the shaders a little bit. The hair, it's too shiny. I don't want it to be that shiny. So it's reflecting completely, but I want to make it a little bit rough. There we go. Now the jacket, it won't be that reflective again, and put some roughness on it, and now it looks pretty cool. Now the scarf, it's the same thing, not so reflective and a little bit rough. You see, we're getting a lot of work done here really quick. And the scarf, I don't want it to be that color. Let's make it something different. There we go. Maybe green, a little bit Christmassy. There we go. The jeans, I like the jeans a lot. The pants look pretty cool, but let's lower the reflection a little bit. All right, and let's see, maybe just the pockets again, same deal as the other materials, because most of these things are not reflective or shiny. So there we go. That's pretty cool. Our character, it's really well shaded now. It looks pretty nice. And that was pretty simple to do and really fast. And we use the interactive shading here, which is pretty cool to use. Another thing you can do here is if something it's, let me make the image bigger again. 1024 by 1024, and let's render. Another thing you can do, you can see this is pretty huge, but if I want to really work on the details on the boots, I can just shift and drag an area that I want to render. So only this area is going to be updating now. So if I'm working just on the boots, I can do that and just see how the boots look. And the other thing is we can render this guy as a subdivision by going here and clicking this, render polygons as subdivisions. That will look even better. You can see the hair, it's not that sharp. Now it looks more cartoony, which is pretty cool. This is the exact look we want for this character. But let's see what we can do with this character. Let's see. I'm not sure if it has textures. I mean UVs. I guess it does have. But you can see in the viewport, even the viewport looks pretty cool here. The side effects guide had made an amazing advances on the viewport, and we can see all sorts of stuff here. We can even activate ambient occlusion. I do have it. You can see there's a little bit of ambient occlusion here on the hair. Looks pretty cool in the viewport. I have that on all the time. Looks pretty nice. And if you're animating this character in the viewport, you will appreciate how good it looks. So let's go to the boy and see what we have for UVs. All right, we have a bunch of stuff here. Let's visualize. Let's create a visualize node. Visibility, sorry. Let's see one of the groups. Let's say the jacket, and hide everything else. All right, so the jacket has nice UVs. It's just already really nice, really nicely unwrapped. Let's assign some UVs, so we can now actually make a quick shade like we did in the UV class. We saw how to do this. So we can assign a quick UVs, and you can see there's the UVs, and they look nice. The UVs are nice for this character. Let's click this icon to don't have any lighting. You can see there's really well laid out UVs for this. So let's shade a few things. Let's assign some textures. Let's go back to lighting, because lighting looks cool. In this button, if you don't want to see textures or shaders, you can just toggle it on and off. Sometimes it's useful to not see the shaders. So let's go to any of these. Let's start with the jacket. So in the jacket, we saw we can change colors, tweak the parameters and stuff. But now let's try to assign a texture. So you can see there's a checkbox here for using a texture. This is something that, again, the side effects guys did for this shader. Before it was a little bit trickier to get texture to shaders, but now it's exposed here in the main level of the shader, which is pretty cool for new guys coming to Houdini. They just expect a checkbox here or something to assign a texture really quick, and it is here. It is here already. So let's go check that, and it exposes these parameters here. Instead of creating another window, going to another node and stuff, it just exposes these parameters here, which to me it's actually way better than anything else. And we can assign them a map here. We can assign a few simple wrapping options and change the color space if you need to, and tinting tinting the map with something. So let's go and select something from the library. So Houdini also ships with a few textures. If you click here this link, HFS Houdini pick, it will take you to this folder where Houdini is installed. Let's go inside this texture, and you can see there's some textures here that ship with Houdini, and this texture will help you shade different materials. So there's bricks, concrete, dirt, metal, rocks, and that's it. Wood. Let's select this wood color. Let's see how it happens. And now you can see here in the viewport I have that wood color assigned to the to the object. Let me fill the frame with that one. It's pretty cool. Looks pretty nice actually. that's kind of good. That's kind of a nice jacket. Of course it will be better something like something. Let me see if I have a texture that it's more cloth like. And I should have. I'm gonna go to the pixel library. I'm gonna copy this to the project. Textures. All right, so let's select another texture for this jacket. Go to the textures folder. There's the pixel library. Let's go to fabric, and there we go. These are fabrics. Let's select something like, I don't know, this pinstripe. Oh, that looks cool. There we go. Now that looks cool, but it's still red. So this is what the tint is doing. If you lower the tint, oh, it's not working. It's because it's using the point color here. If we don't use we turn this color back to white. Now we're just gonna see the texture. And the texture, it's not being repeated here, because that will be done in the actual UVs. So I'm not sure why this is not tinting the texture. It should tint the texture. I don't know. All right, so that's how you assign a material. Now you can see, let's make this UVs a little bit smaller, or yeah, change the UVs so the texture it's a little bit, right now it's really big. So UV transform. Oh, that's not it. UV transform. And we're gonna transform just the jacket group. And we're gonna make this bigger. Have nice stripes in the jacket. You can see it's looking really nice. Looks really nice with that. And now we can assign more stuff to this. So let's go to the jacket, and let's say what else do we have here for the fabric. Let's see. You have normal maps, and we have bump. Oh, this one looks pretty cool. This checked cotton. I'm gonna assign that one. It didn't sell that before. There we go. Now that's a nice jacket. Cool. All right, so let's assign into the normals, the bump and normal tab. Let's enable that. And let's use a normal map. We have a normal map here. For that one, you can see it's here, normal map. Now we have that. Now this looks a little bit more bumpy. You can see if I toggle this on and off, you can see how now we can see some of the detail there. And if we render this, let me put the camera closer to this guy and go to the render view, render. It's gonna update really quick. Let's just focus on this area. You can see that's looking pretty nice. We can see the effect of the normal map just by snapping this and disabling the normal map. And now it looks a little bit more flat, but this has a little bit more bump. Just a little bit, it's not too much, but we can actually force it a little bit more if we want to. Let's put it up to 2. You can see it now, it looks a little bit more bumpy, which might work for this kind of a cartoony character. It just depends on what you are doing. And that looks pretty good. Really nice. And what I tend to do sometimes with these Pixar materials, I use the bump uses as the roughness actually. So let's go to this bump. I use it as roughness, and that gives it a little bit better look actually. So some areas will be more rougher than others, and that's something that it helps to make some stuff look better. We can see this. We have to do something for the slabs of the code and the inside shear and stuff, but right now it looks pretty cool. But let's do something similar for the scarf. That looks pretty nice. Pretty nice jacket there, you. Eh? Rocking a pretty nice jacket there. So let's do something similar for the scarf. Let's use a texture. We can actually have this running here. Don't have to stop this. We have a scarf that we want to do there, so let's assign a material to the scarf. Let's see what we have here in the fabrics. This looks nice for a scarf. You can make this bigger. That looks nice for a scarf, or that looks nice for a curtain. That looks pretty cool for a scarf. There's a lot of things here that are pretty cool. We are going to use this one, herringbone. That one is pretty cool for a scarf. Now, herringbone, here it is. You can see it updates pretty quick here. It's a little bit green, and I actually like it to be green. I can try to make it white, see how it looks. All right, let's keep the normal color there. Again, go to the normals, assign the normal texture there. That's looking pretty cool. Let me get closer to the scarf. Looks pretty nice. Oh yeah, nice scarfy there, eh? And let's do for the go to displacement tab, and we can enable the map texture, enable texture displacement. And now we're gonna put that bump map here, Harrington bump. This will actually displace the geometry, and whoa, right now you can see that's pretty huge. So let's turn the scale down 0.1. It's still too much. So still too much. So let's put that down a little bit more. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That looks pretty nice. But it's still, yeah, I think that's about the size that we want. We need to make this a little bit smaller in the UV space. So let's go to here. Let's copy this transform. Change the group to the scarf. And now the scarf should be smaller detail. Have smaller detail. You can see it looks pretty cool. A bit too small for my taste. Make it bigger. This is a cartoony character after all, so can have that detail a little bit bigger. Let's do it a little bit bigger still. There we go. That looks pretty cool. All right. Let's see what you have in the viewport. You can see this is looking pretty cool. And another cool thing about Houdini is that you can actually see the displacement in the viewport. See, this geometry is being displaced. You can see that it's being moved here in the viewport. If we go to the shader here, scarf, if we make the scale bigger, you can see that it's being displaced here in the viewport. It's pretty amazing. It's just incredible that you can see that. We had 0.1 there. You can still see it here. You can, it's pretty cool. It's pretty amazing. All right, so the pockets, we can do the pockets, we can assign the same material as the jacket. You can just copy this, put it in the pockets, but leave them, maybe leave them with that color so they are a little bit different. See, that looks pretty cool. If we don't want that, we can just lower this. We have pockets that are the same color, but I like that being a little bit different. There we go. So there's a little bit more detail there. And there we go. That's pretty cool. We shaded a lot of stuff really quickly, and we have that character looking pretty damn cool. Let's just give this a render to see what we have so far. So you see, this is pretty cool to get really nice results. And let's just make a render with the with mplay. All right, so let's see. Let me see my notes and see what I'm missing. But if there are no questions, I think we're gonna wrap this up. Actually, the jacket might benefit from the bump here. You can see this looks amazing. This scarf looks really cool. The jacket looks pretty nice, but maybe if we put the bump on the displacement as well, it will look better. You can leave this there and do that. Go to the jacket, add the map here for the bump into the displacement. We know it's gonna be really huge, so let's put it down. We can see it in the viewport. You can see it's still really big. It's kind of looks like a furry jacket now. That's pretty big still. All right, that makes it rougher. Let's see how it looks in the render. Alrighty. So let me see what I have in notes. We covered that. We covered that. I think we have everything. Figure material, shops everywhere. There we go. That's the before and after. A little bit rough for my taste. Might need to be a little bit less, maybe 0.2. And take one more render. We might even be able to assign. Let me see if I can get the texture for the face. Let's just assign the this assign for just for the benefit. I'm gonna go create another group for the only for the head. Select by 3D. Only the head. It's gonna be selected into put into another group called head group. And I'm gonna create a new copy of this skin. Just control copy skin head. And remove the color and use the texture on this. I have the boy face there. They came with this character. And let's assign this to material, a new material. You can add another material here, it doesn't matter. Get the head and assign that new skin head. There we go. Look at that. So we have skin head doesn't have any. Let's see, maybe there's something on the face. No, there we go. All right, that looks cool. All right, so seems like there's no questions, so I'm just gonna make a final render here, and that's it. So we're doing the final render. Home this. That looks pretty cool. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you find this useful. If you are watching this after the live recording, please follow the channel. Have questions ready. We do this every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. So if you like this, please subscribe to the channel, go to Mix Training, and there's a forum there specific for questions. Go ask your questions there. So there you go. Hope you find this useful. Hope you learn something, and I will see you next Wednesday. Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot.